My late husband, 52M, my 53F boyfriend, 57M, and my 3 daughters, 20F, 20F, 23F, need advice? Hello, I'm a 53-year woman, mom of 3 young adult daughters. My husband of 28 years passed away almost 2 years ago. 4 years ago, I found out he had been cheating on me throughout our entire marriage with men, and that he had AIDS. It was horrific. In some way it made sense because he had not held my hand or even touched me in over 10 years. That said, legally, he had to tell me and our children about his situation. He also got cancer from the AIDS. Because he was so sick, I stayed married to him and took care of him for over a year. The children knew that when he got better, we were going to get a divorce. Sorry, this is a long story. He sadly passed away almost 2 years ago. I started dating a wonderful man 1 year ago. He is extremely thoughtful and caring, and never wants to step on anyone's toes and respect the girl's father. The girls have met him and say they like him, but are constantly making me feel bad and don't want him around. My girls are twins that are 20, and I have a 23-year-old. They told me it is because they lost their father only 2 years ago, and most women who get a divorce or lose their husband wait 5-10 years. That said, my marriage ended almost 15 years ago physically, and for the last 10 years of his life, he became an alcoholic, was verbally abusive, and more. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt them. They've been through enough, but I also don't want to live 2 separate lives where I never bring my boyfriend around. I'm in love. I want to marry this man someday. He loves me more than I thought any man ever would or could with my background. I'm blissfully happy. I want to always respect them, and even though my marriage was horrible, I want to respect their father. I'm at a loss. I feel like I'm constantly suffering, but I don't want to be a victim either. I don't want to hurt them or hurt my relationship with them. And most women who get a divorce or lose their husband wait 5-10 years. Where did they find that statistic? There is no timeline on dating again. They lost their father, and that is sad. But they need to understand that for you, it's been 15 years whether he was alive or not. I understand that you don't want to hurt your relationship with your kids, but you have to put yourself first and make sure you are happy. That is not realistic. You are allowed to be happy and fulfilled. Today is never guaranteed, as the death of your husband shows. You all are amazing. I should have posted on this app a while ago. Thank you for your advice. My girls are grieving, and yes, I think they are trying to not believe what they know is true about their father. 2 things can be true at the same time. He was a good dad, though selfish, because he did not tell us about his disease. But he was a horrible husband. I'm here for them no matter what, but you're right, but it's time for me to be happy. Cheers, you all are amazing. Your children are adults. They're no longer depending on you. The time where you needed to build your life around them is over. That's what you need to do when they're kids. Also, that statistic sounds made up. It's probably their way of grieving their father. And while this is fine, don't let it overshadow your own life. No offense, but your kids are morons that have 0 life experience. You don't owe them loneliness. I've never heard that widows should wait 5-10 years before dating. It doesn't matter if you had a good marriage or a bad marriage. They're going to have to learn how to deal. If they still live with you, I guess they better figure out another living situation or accept that you have a life. Enjoy your life. Let your children know when their husband passes, they can make the choice to not be happy for 5 years. Then remind them to death do you part. I fear my boyfriend, 28M, wants to baby trap me, 25F. I am a 25-year-old woman, and I've been dating a 29-year-old man for about 3 months. He's a very nice boyfriend, caring, supportive, and financially stable for where we live. He takes care of my needs plus all the girly needs LOL. At home, he helps with chores except dishes, which I usually do. Overall, he's responsible, and I do see good qualities in him. But here's the issue. I feel like he wants to baby trap me. Yesterday was my last unsafe day, Sunday, of my cycle, and when we were intimate around midnight Monday, I asked him to use a condom. He refused and said he will pull out, but then decided to finish inside me, even though I told him I'm not ready to be a mother. When I reminded him that I don't want kids right now, he started saying things like, our goals don't align, or, do you even love me? Why not have my child? To me, that's emotional manipulation, because loving someone has nothing to do with being ready for parenthood. I've made it clear to him. My rule is no kids before marriage. Where I come from, we have 3 ceremonies before marriage is considered official: the kakyala, the introduction, and then the church wedding. For me, Children come only after the church wedding. But he keeps trying to convince me otherwise, even asking me what he can do to make me ready. Saying things like we can go to your parents, when do you want us to go, meaning the Kukyala. And when he brings the baby talk, I bring the marriage talk, and he start manipulating me emotionally all over again by saying things like I don't like people who put me on pressure. Why are you putting me on pressure? And I told him that's exactly what you're doing to me as well. The truth is, it's not about him, it's about me. I'm still figuring out my life. I just finished postgraduate school, I'm working on building my career, and I don't feel financially or emotionally ready for motherhood. I'm only 25, and I want to secure my future before I take such a big step. I do care about him, and I'm not against marriage. I can even imagine a future with him. But I feel pressured. He's 29 and seems anxious about time. He wants children before 30, whereas I want to build stability first. His urgency feels like he's putting his timeline above mine, and that worries me. So my dilemma is this. He's a good partner in many ways, but I'm scared he's trying to trap me into motherhood before I'm ready. And I don't know if that's love or control. For crying out loud. No, he is not a good partner. He is someone you barely know after 3 months who refuses to wear a condom, says he won't finish inside of you as the excuse, and then continues to do it anyway. He is currently a stranger you like, and he just showed you that he will never respect you or care for your needs if these needs are not his own. Get out while you can. Bonus. A man who helps with chores is not a yay. Chores between two adults are an equal responsibility between the two, including dishes. This isn't as much about baby trapping as it is about consent. The conditions of entry are wear a condom. He didn't do that. That's not consent. It's your body. This would be a gigantic red flag for me. It shows a total disregard towards your boundaries and total lack of respect. I'm confused. You've been dating for 3 months. But you split chores? Girl, you don't even know this man. I have condiments older than your relationship, and he's already lying and manipulating you. Ick where you are in the world, but I hope it's somewhere with access to Plan B. Take that and dump him and his load. When we were intimate around midnight Monday, I asked him to use a condom. He refused. When I reminded him that I don't want kids right now, he started saying things like our goals don't align, or, do you even love me? Why not have my child? Huge red flags. Do not date a person who does not respect your decisions about reproductive health and responsibility. He is not a good man. If you aren't ready for a baby, you need reliable birth control that he can't tamper with. Talk to your doctor about an IUD or arm implant. If you keep relying on him finishing outside, you will be pregnant very soon. He disrespected your wishes already. He's going to do it again. Please protect yourself and your future. If your rule is no kids before marriage, then you need to rely on a better birth control method than period tracking and condoms. Condoms are only 85% effective, so every time you are playing with odds. And manipulation is never love. Respecting one's body and boundaries is love. Nobody is a good partner if they're doing this to you. My 38M, friend and his 34F, wife want me 38M to get her pregnant. I have a friend who I've known for 20 years since college. He met his now wife 12 years ago, and I know her fairly well too. I am a widower, and when my wife was alive, died 4 years ago, we would all hang out. So there is a level of comfort. I know they've been trying for a baby for a couple of years now, but it just hasn't worked out. They got some tests run, finally, and it turns out he has low sperm count, which devastated them. Last week, they came over for dinner and popped the strangest question ever. Basically asked if I would consider being the donor and getting her pregnant. Pretty much through the turkey baster method, so obviously no actual sex involved. I asked why me and why not go to a sperm bank. They can't afford it. They trust me. They know I can father children, since I have 2 of my own. They assured me over and over that my responsibility would end there. They would go to a lawyer and make sure I'm covered. I do not want to do it. I feel terrible for them, but there has to be another solution. Everything about this would make me incredibly uncomfortable. How do I say no without hurting their feelings and making them understand where I'm coming from? Just say you don't want to have a child you're not connected to in the world. Then they probably also can't afford a lawyer that's worth AS that will actually cover your ass from being sued for child support. Nope, nope, nope. If they cannot afford a sperm bank, they should know the costs involved of raising a kid. It's expensive raising a kid. And the relationship dynamic with your best friend and his wife raising your biological child can really become burdensome and complex. Lots of potential for heartache and drama. You politely state that you are honored that they have considered you, but you cannot accept. I'm not even sure if you have to elaborate on a reason. I actually feel the more concise you leave the answer the better. I think if you start explaining too much, they will start putting words in your mouth, or trying to convince you otherwise. Say something simple like, I cannot ethically do that, or sorry, I do not feel comfortable doing that. You don't owe them a prolonged explanation, and if they start requesting more of an elaboration or try to convince you otherwise, then you're going to have to feel comfortable politely telling them to respect your decision. They assured me over and over that my responsibility would end there. They would go to a lawyer and make sure I'm covered. Yeah, you should be pretty skeptical of this, man. That said, you don't want to do it. The conversation ends there. You don't need to make them understand your reasoning. Just tell them, I thought about it and decided against it. Don't apologize. You're not doing anything wrong. And don't justify yourself. Just be as curt as possible, because the more reasons you give, the more you open the door for them to potentially try and counter them. If they can't accept a simple no, it's not your problem to fix or smooth over. Even with longtime friends, they made an odd request to begin with. If you don't want to do it, just tell them you don't want to do it. But if they can't afford a sperm bank and the IUI to have her inseminated, they likely also can't afford the legal contract that would have to be drawn up to make this legitimate. Minus that you can be tagged for child support, the kid could someday sue you, etc. Maybe just tell them that you'd only consider this with the proper, legally binding contract that sperm banks use. Because unless you're completely indemnified against having paternal rights, this would legally be your kid and your responsibility. The another solution for them is that either she goes out and has one-night stands until she's pregnant, or they consider adopting through the foster care system, which is the low-cost way to do it. I, 28F, caught my partner, 27M, in a lie, and think I'm just done. Too long did not read. My partner lied about being spiked, and I think it's the straw that's broken this relationship's back. My partner, 27M, and I, 28F, have been together for 2 years, living together for just under 1 year. There have been some issues throughout our relationship. I find it incredibly difficult to get him to do anything around the house, from cleaning to tidying, etc. I have to ask him several times to do any cleaning, hoovering, etc., and it does often feel like I'm acting in a parent role rather than a partner. He doesn't seem to want to take responsibility for his own actions or step up into an adult partner role. He also tends to lie when caught in a bad situation to save his own back. A few months ago, I saw an OnlyFans notification on his phone when I went to put it on charge. I asked him to show me the account, and saw that while I had been sleeping in the next room the night before, he had created an account and paid to subscribe to at least 4 different girls' accounts. There were 4 message threads on the account from these girls. This felt like a huge betrayal in my eyes, as we've consistently had issues with intimacy. I have to essentially beg him to come near me, and I see paying for OnlyFans content as way over the line. We moved past this, but it definitely damaged my trust in him. Recently, my partner started a new job, which requires some overseas travel. He went on his first work trip last week. On the last night, there was an after party with a free bar. He took it way too far, got blackout drunk, his words, and lost his phone and his wallet. This alone was, I think, incredibly irresponsible, especially on a work trip in a new role where he's still on probation. He then started saying that, on a yacht ride with a group of Italian women, he thinks he was spiked. He told me he went and got tested, and it came back positive for GHB, and that he reported it. I asked him when he got home if there was any proof of the testing, and he said no, but that he promised it happened. Last night, I found out that he was lying about being spiked. Something didn't feel right, so I researched how testing for GHB is done. Then I asked him how they did his test. Long story short, he admitted to lying about the whole thing. For some added context, I was spiked a few years ago. He knows this, and knows that it was incredibly traumatic for me. Also, when I asked about whether anything happened or if he cheated, he said he didn't think so, but who knows what might have happened after he was spiked. I feel utterly betrayed by this. I feel like this is the straw that's broke the camel's back, and I just think I'm done with it all. Would I be wrong for walking away? Our home is mine, and we have no children or pets together. Sorry, I know this post is a mess, so is my brain right now. Any advice or those would be greatly appreciated. I really do love him. You have no kids, and the house is yours. Please walk away. Walk away, Yai. You do not need any justification or permission to walk away. You can walk away because you decided you dislike his hair color. Don't ask whether you would be wrong. Ask whether he is what you want from a relationship. If not, you might be with the wrong person. And if you're done, you're done. It's your life. Make sure it's how you want it to be. You won't get a redo. Also, technically, he will be the one to walk away. He has to leave your home. And I'm pretty sure he got drunk again and had sex, and this was his cover-up in case you find out. People usually don't invent stuff like that for no reason. I'm guessing the being spiked lie was for coverage in case he finds out he has an STD. NGL, he sounds like a piece of work. If he's lying this much and pretty seriously, I don't expect him to change. Let's be honest, he obviously cheated and said he was drugged to justify it in case you found out. This guy's is a disgusting POS. You should dump him like yesterday.